You know, First Peter chapter 3, verse 15 tells us to sanctify the Lord in our heart and to always be ready to give to every man a reason for the hope that is in us with meekness and trembling. You know, we live in an age where, scientific proof and evidence is respected more and more, and people want logic, people want understanding, and this is why apologetics is the type of ministry that I believe is very important right now. You have counter Christian information that is going out all the way from a young age, which is telling kids, that you don't have any worth and that you're an accident. And this effect on children, this effect on even adults, is not usually seen right away. It's something that you kind of hear, and it's kind of a relief. It makes you feel like you don't have anything to worry about. But then it always leads into a hopelessness. It leads to despair when you follow this train of thought all the way to its conclusion. One of the attacks that us Christians need to be on the lookout for is the one that I hear a lot. That a lot of people say that you're a Christian, you have an imaginary friend, or Jesus is your imaginary friend. But actually, on the contrary, the whole atheist life is a life of imagination. Everything that the atheist lives and stands for is a part of his imagination if there is no God. So, if God is real, then God can create purpose. Just like if you create a car, that car cannot figure out its own purpose. That car has a purpose, and it's going to run perfectly by following its purpose. If you try to drive a car into the water, it might float for a little while, it might even drift a little while, but it's not going to serve the purpose of a boat. Same thing with us. We have a purpose of loving God and loving people with all our heart, soul, and mind. And we can actually see through experience that this actually makes sense. But in the atheist worldview, people are only just here to survive and to, eat and to work and then just die. But that means there will be no such thing as good, there's no such thing as evil, there's no such thing as love. All these things will just be a part of someone's imagination. So the atheist is the one who's actually living a life of imaginary friends, because there's really no such thing as friends if there's no God. There's really no such thing as good or evil. So if someone steals from you and you tell them, hey, you shouldn't have done that, you should not have stole from me, what you're doing is you're just using your imagination and saying that you shouldn't have stole from me because I say so. But in their mind, if there's no God, then their morals are just as legit as yours. So if they feel like they should steal from you, and you feel like they shouldn't steal from you, who is right? Or it's just your opinion against mine. There's no real right or wrong. So all you have is your imagination. If someone tells you that they love you, or if you tell someone else that you love them, it's just in your mind. You're nothing but chemicals bubbling. You're just just an animal. So there's no real love. There's really no sense of right or wrong. There's really no sense of love if there is no God, because all these invisible things aren't real. There is no real friendship, there is no real love, there is no real right or wrong, unless there is a God who creates these things. If these things are created and are outside of us, then they actually are set in stone and objective. But without God, there's no way to say that one thing is right or one thing is wrong. All you can say is, I have my opinion and you have your opinion. But you have to admit that this is all part of your imagination. If in another country feels like that it's okay to kill kids, you can't say they're wrong. You might feel like they're wrong, but you can't really say that they're wrong, because all of them say it's okay, and they're doing it. You can't stop it. So what can you say? All you can do is say in your mind that, oh, you know what, I know it's wrong. And that's what I'm appealing to. I'm appealing that we do know that things are wrong. we do know that love is real. It's not just a part of our imagination. We know when we love somebody, we know it's real. We're not just making it up. And we know when we see somebody beating a child, we know it's wrong. It's not just an opinion. You know, somebody tells me they like mustard on their burger instead of mayonnaise. You know, I'm going to disagree with them because I'm a mayo type of dude. But I'm also going to understand that, you know, that kind of makes sense. I can kind of understand that. It's not going to outrage me. I'm not going to be outraged like, no, there's no way. There's no way you can think mustard's better. I'm not going to do that because I understand that that's just an opinion. That is a part of their imagination. But if somebody's beating a child and I tell them that that's wrong and they tell me, no, my opinion is right, I'm like, no, you're wrong, and I know you're wrong, and I'm going to stand up for it. I'm going to fight for it because I know it's objectively wrong. And this is what we have to and this is what we have to really sit and evaluate. We have to evaluate, is it really true that there's a right and wrong? Because if there is, then atheism cannot be true. Because if there really is a right and a wrong, then it has to be created outside of us. Why do countries try to become better? What is this better that they're trying to be? What is this objective better? The only way we can have this is if it is created outside of us. So the important thing we have to do is remember that no matter how we feel, we have to always stay in touch with reality. A lot of feelings we have, we know are just opinions. And there are other feelings that we have that we know are right or wrong. We know pain is real. We know good and evil are real. We know love is real because we have experiences with them. So the atheistic worldview that there's nothing but matter and energy, there's nothing but rocks and skin and bones and sunlight and trees, and there's no kind of spiritual realm. There's no kind of love. There's no kind of good. There's no kind of evil. It doesn't match up with the way we live our life. If you're living your life as if good and evil are real things, but you don't believe in God, you're living an imaginary life. And you're pretending that good and evil are real things. You are the one with imaginary friends. You are the one with imaginary feelings that aren't real. But if there is a God, then you're not imagining. If there is a God, then good is real, evil is real, love is real, and that will match up with the life that you live. Right here in 2 Thessalonians 2:10 through 12, it reads, "In every type of evil to deceive those who are dying, those who refuse to love the truth that will save them. For this reason, God will send them a powerful delusion so that they will believe the lie. Then all who have not believed the truth but have taken pleasure in unrighteousness will be condemned." There's a powerful delusion that has taken over the majority of American culture, and this is the illusion that atheism is an actual logical philosophy of life, that it actually makes sense, that there is no kind of love, that there is no kind of objective truth, and that there is no kind of creator for a world that has so much order, design, and purpose that everyone searches for. Remember, you're living an imaginary life if you believe that there's a purpose for life, but there's no God. There's no God, there is no purpose. But you know deep inside that there is a purpose, and you're searching for purpose. Every person in the world searches for purpose. Every person looks for love. The only one with a wild imagination is the atheist. Something to think about.